Tom and Nancy Thelen started Riverview Dairy on Staley Road in Lyons, Michigan, the year they married in 1968. They purchased their first 20 acres and eventually acquired the remaining 130, putting back together land once divided by the previous owner. Tom grew up on a farm in Mulligan, and though Nancy was a city girl from Lansing, she spent Sundays on her grandparents' farm in Mulligan as well. She'd eventually meet Tom and live the farm life she always dreamed of.
When I was a little girl, my uncle who lived here took me to the county fairs. I thought that the kids in the barns who had cattle and horses, sheep and hogs, were the luckiest kids in the world.
From the beginning, with just a handful of cows, the quality of milk was always more important than the quantity, but that would eventually come. Along with their own hard work, Tom and Nancy give a lot of credit to all the people who helped them along the way. There was Nancy's mother and grandmother, her Uncle Ralph Sontag, and Dr. Ed Sterner.
We would be sad and heartbroken and broke and not have any idea how we were even going to farm the next year. And Doc would come out to do herd health and give us ideas, and our hearts would be just full of can do when he left. We can do this. Doctor was progressive in every aspect of dairying. We had 3 cattle. We started with 3 head of cattle. I think maybe we went to 10, and it never mattered how many head of cattle you had. If Doctor knew that you were trying your best, he was right there to give you advice on what you needed to do.
Today, Tom and Nancy farm with their son Tom and his wife Lori. The Thelens have roughly 500 cows, milking around 230, with the rest being replacement heifers or in a dry state. Carolyn Smith, a longtime employee at Riverview Dairy, explains.
When the cows aren't giving milk, they're in the dry pen, and that is where they have a little vacation before calving again. They have anywhere from 56 days to about 64 days off from work before they freshen and start a lactation again. A lactation is the period of the year that they milk, which is usually about 305 days.
The cows are milked 3 times a day with a current herd average of 93 pounds, meaning a cow gives, on average, 93 pounds of milk per day. One key to good milk production is proper nutrition, and at Riverview Dairy, that means corn, alfalfa, and canola. And what goes in must come out, so those nutrients are utilized to help grow the feed. Tom Jr. oversees this important stewardship practice.
The manure is very good fertilizer. It's got a lot of organic matter. It's got nutrients in it that you can't get with chemical or commercial fertilizers. We do our best, especially when we're emptying the pit, to work the manure down right away so we can control the smell. We're people too. It doesn't necessarily smell good to us, so we know people who don't live on farms don't necessarily appreciate it either, but we do our best to manage that part of it.
Another key to Riverview Dairy's continued success are their healthy calves, and that's where Lori Thelen comes in. Along with managing payroll and having an off-the-farm job, she oversees the newborns.
The calves we have out here, they are brought out here when they're first born, and we feed them milk replacer or mix it with the whole milk from the cows. And they also get pellets, special made pellets for them, and they get fresh water with them for them all day long, and that's in front of them. They are on milk for 5 to 6 weeks. If they're growing good, eating good, look good, then I take it off, the milk off of them, and they just get water and pellets for the last 3 weeks that they're out here. And then we move them to the transition barn, and then they keep progressing up there as they grow.
Tom and Nancy are thrilled to have Tom Jr. and Lori involved in the farm, along with all of their hard-working grandchildren. They're also very proud of their 3 daughters, Margie, Marty, and Amy, all involved in agriculture and all dedicated to the rural way of life.
They all worked hard on the farm. They all milked, and even back when I was getting big equality awards, people would say, well, yeah, he milks his own cows. And then somebody'd tell him, no, he doesn't. He's got 4 kids helping him, and he leaves them by themselves. Amy's specialty was feeding calves, but she milked too. She be feeding calves out here when we had hutches, and she'd be walking out there in the rain, singing, cat on each shoulder, a bucket in each hand. That was just her thing.
I always love to say that I would love every person in the world to know how milk gets on their cornflakes in the morning. I love it when people stop in. I know that people have, some people do, because of media and so on, a skewed idea of what happens on the farm. And you need to stop in the farm sometimes and find out how much we love what we do, how much we care, and how much we care about this livestock. That these cows are happy and contented and just have a pleasurable life is the most important thing to us.
When Nancy told her mother she was going to marry a farmer, her mom replied, "You'll work yourself to death, never have a nickel, and the farm will always come before you." Knowing the Thelens, they wouldn't have it any other way.